Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to code, stop for three. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the segment, bar back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss when we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr Boyce TV.
All right, guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I also want to say welcome to the Black Financial Channel. The Black Financial Channel is where we do daily financial news from a black perspective. If you are interested in the world of finance and the world of money, make sure you subscribe at theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to get us straight here on the live feed. I don't know if you guys can see me on the Black Financial Channel or Dr. Boyce TV, but I have a really good conversation for you that I think you're going to appreciate. It has to do with a player by the name of Jason Tatum. I don't know if you guys know who Jason Tatum is, but he's a really good player. He plays for the Boston Celtics, and if you follow basketball, you probably seen him. He's the guy who I remember he dunked on LeBron James at one time, and it was a pretty nasty dunk. But then LeBron sent him back to school after that. LeBron came back and took the Eastern Conference Finals away from whoever game they were playing. He kicked his butt pretty good. But anyway, I don't know. Give me a yes or no if you are aware of who Jason Tatum is. Do you know who Jason Tatum is? Emmett says, hey, Dr. Boyce, it's good to be hanging out with smart black people right now, or smart people. Yeah, absolutely. Hang out with smart people, because stupid people will make you stupid. Whatever they got, whatever disease they have is very contagious. So don't ever let yourself get caught up, or, in sort of confirming stupidity, confirming ignorance, and co-signing on ignorance. You will always regret it, I guarantee it. And so anyway, so Jason Tatum, who plays for the Boston Celtics, this brother is in the news right now because it was revealed by CNBC that he saves 100% of his salary from the NBA. He saves 100%, not 70%, not 80%, not 90%, 100%. And what really impresses me is that Jason Tatum might, right now, in my opinion, be the smartest millennial I've ever seen in my life. Millennials are very smart. Millennials, when they get their stuff together, they're the ones who can change the world for the better. But not every millennial knows their worth or knows how to fulfill their potential. And I know when I was 21, I wasn't always on point. I didn't have it all together. I don't know if anybody else was a dumbass when you were 21. If you were a dumbass when you were 21, raise your hand. But I wouldn't say I was a complete dumbass. I was actually teaching college when I was 22, so I was actually doing my own thing. He went to the league as a basketball player. I went to the league as a scholar. But at the same time, when I compare the decisions that I made when I was young, they're very different from the decisions I make now. So Jason Tatum is, somebody says, are you a boomer or a Generation X? And my mother is a boomer. How about that? So we'll start with that. So I'm definitely Gen X. And my brother is whatever the generation is after that. I guess that's millennials, right? I don't know if they call them Generation Y or what. But anyway, so Jason Tatum, apparently he has found a way to save 100% of his salary. And when I saw that, I thought it was great because, for the first time, you've seen a black man in the news and in the media for something good. They're always quick to sort of put the brothers in the media when they do something crazy or something stupid, but they don't always highlight when they're doing something positive and something worthwhile. And so when I saw what Tatum was doing, saving 100% of his salary, my first thought, obviously, like a lot of people, was, well, okay, what's he, what is he living off of? Like, where's he getting his actual money? And just like I suspected, he's actually making his money from his endorsements. So in CNBC, and I'm going to pull up this article about Mr. Tatum and CNBC. As I do that, please do me a favor right now. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button right now. Share, subscribe. Also, make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's daily financial news from a black perspective. Theblackfinancialchannel.com. We're one of the fastest growing financial platforms in the country. We're 3 times bigger than Black Enterprise. So we are growing very, very fast. And most importantly, we're independent. No corporate sponsorship. It's built by the community. So let me read some of this to you. Hit the thumbs up button. After one basketball season at Duke University, Jason Tatum declared for the 2017 NBA draft when he was just 19 years old. The team was selected number 3 overall by the Boston Celtics and signed a lucrative $30 million deal to be distributed over 4 years. This season, Tatum will earn a base salary of $7.83 million, and every penny will go straight to the bank. He says, quote, all the money I get from the Celtics, I put in a savings account, he told Maverick Carter on an episode of Uninterrupted's Kneading Dough. To this day, he hasn't touched a dime of his NBA money and lives off endorsement deals, which have included Gatorade, Imo's Pizza, and Honeydew Donuts. When I picked my agent, I told him that I wanted to do as much off the court as I can. Tatum told the Boston Globe, right now I'm young, so I could try to do everything as much as possible. Tomorrow's not promised. You're not promised the next contract. You want to save all the money you can. First of all, let's give this brother a digital round of applause. Let's I really think that when young people do something that is like not stupid, we should certainly clap for them and let them know that we're very proud of them. So let's give this black man. We all, we'll dog a black man out when he's messing up. So I think it's very important that we clap for brothers when they have it together. All right. Because, just earlier today, we were getting on that one brother. I don't even want to say his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. That brother who played, Patrick Patterson, who plays for the Clippers, who was up there calling black women bulldogs or something, right? And so we went off on this brother. We shut that down real good, real fast. And so I think that if we're gonna go shut them down when they're messing up, we should elevate them when they're doing well. So good for him. Way to go, brother. Very, very proud of you. I love it. Now here's another thought that went through my mind when I first saw Tatum's interview or I read Tatum's first part of his story. My first thought when I heard that he was saving all this money is, are you also investing, right? And it doesn't mean that I think he's making a mistake. I'm sure Maverick Carter talked to him about it. If that has happened, I'm sure that he knows about investing. But in case he doesn't know, in case he doesn't hear me, or in case he's listening somewhere, I want him to know that when you get that kind of money, you don't just want to put it in a savings account. You want to invest some percentage of that money because money is capital. Capital is supposed to, according to financial theory, be put to its best available use. What does that mean? That means that capital is supposed to be planted like a seed, right? Meaning that you put your money in, and if you let it grow consistently, then you'll get 5-10 times more out over the long haul than you actually put in. And also, given the fact that he knows a lot of NBA players, he knows the Maverick Carters and LeBron Jameses, stuff like that, because they have excessive amounts of capital, they're going to draw the best business deals. So when they draw the best business deals, those are just literally like money trees. It's like having an ATM machine in your backyard where people are going to bring deals to you where they say, look, you put in $1 million, we could flip this into $5 million in a few years. So when you don't invest your money, what you're doing is you're basically killing the potential of the money. It's almost like if you have, if you have cattle and you want to have more cows, well, you got to breed the cows. You can't just sort of just go buy more cows and keep just adding them in there. You want to breed the cows so that you can get that natural fertility that's supposed to come with your money. But I'm assuming that he had a conversation with somebody about this. I'm assuming that when he says I put my money in my savings account, that he is activating some of that money. And I think it's very important. The other important point to make about Jason Tatum is that, he's in the extreme category. Theoretically, honestly, to be real with you, as a financial psychology expert, I'm going to tell you that people who hoard and save too much, that actually technically could be considered to be almost like and I'm going to be cautious when I say this because I don't want to make it sound like I'm dissing the brother, but you can almost define it almost like a mental illness, a mental health issue, right? Now, it doesn't mean that he has a mental illness. I am not in any way dissing what this brother's doing. I'm very proud of him. And if you're going to go to an extreme, at least go to the extreme in a positive direction as opposed to negative. But actually, for those of you who are kind of looking at this like, whoa, wait a minute, man, I can't save every penny. Or if I spend my money and enjoy my money, Doc's going to get on me. Nobody's saying don't do that. What you want to avoid is the other extreme. The other extreme that got guys like Antoine Walker into trouble. Antoine Walker's problem was that Antoine Walker, it wasn't that Antoine Walker didn't save every penny. It was that Antoine Walker spent every penny. Antoine Walker went deep in debt with every penny. And when you do that, that's when you get yourself in financial trouble. That's when you have financial problems. So ultimately, anybody who sees this and is inspired by this, but doesn't want to go that far, it's okay. You don't have to go that far. You can have moderation. An NBA player, this is why NBA players going broke really bothers me. The reason it bothers me so much, as a finance professor, what bothers me so much about NBA players who go broke is that, they could still have enjoyed their money and not gone broke if they just had some moderation. So let's say, for example, you run into a guy who says, look, when I make my money, I'm not trying to go the Jason Tatum route. I ain't trying to save 100% of my money. I ain't doing that. That's not of interest to me. Well, what I would say to this guy is I'd say, look, just take that bottom 20 or 30% of your income, 20 or 30%. So you're Jason Tatum, you're making $8 million a year. 30% of that is 2.4 million. Well, let's take out taxes. Let's do it that way. Let's make it easy. So let's say 4 million after taxes, and you pay everybody. So 30% of that 4 million is about 1.2 million. What I would say to that young man, if he's my little brother or my son, I say, okay, son, let's take that 1.2 million and we're going to work that 1.2. We're going to put that 1.2 into a special account so that, that money will grow. We're going to give that to the fund managers. We're going to let that grow over time. And also, as your salary increases, that 1.2 is going to grow to 2.5, 3.4, 4.6. It's going to grow, because your salary is going to grow. Jason Tatum's a great player. He's going to have a long career. The NBA is a great place to make money. So what happens then is 15 years later, when he retires and he announces he doesn't want to play basketball anymore, those small contributions every year that he's making that are allowed to grow, with compound interest, could easily have him walking away with a lump sum of $50 to $100 million, easily $50 to $100 million, maybe a couple $100 million if he hits the right investments. If you run into an Uber type of investment or something that actually allows you to really flip your money. I mean, I've made investments for $10,000 that have turned into $250,000, right? So the same thing applies to millions. You can make an investment for 10 million that turns into $250 million. That's where guys like Nas and others are actually making their biggest money. They're not making their biggest money from rapping. They're making the biggest money from investing, right? So they're all coming over into our territory. So by you guys being here, by you guys watching the Black Financial Channel, what you are is you're just ahead of your time. The reason that we're not the cool kids on the block yet, and we're not the most popular kids on the block yet, is because the rest of the world's got to catch up with you. You're thinking about your children and your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and you're implementing principles and ideals that will be commonplace in the Black community in a generation. They're not commonplace in the Black community now because we're just now being introduced to the power of investing and the power of wealth. So let me read more about Jason Tatum's story. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the Black Financial Channel, theblackfinancialchannel.com. And also, if you have an opinion, if you ever want to submit content or a short little commentary of your own, 3 minutes or less, make it short though, just go to boyceyouropinion.com, BOYCE, boyceyouropinion.com, and you can actually submit a video right there. And if it works for the channel, we'll put it up on the channel. So feel free to go to boyceyouropinion.com. And also, if you're interested in your children joining our Black Business School for Kids, go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Okay, so let me read more of this article to you. He says, let's see, he's not the only high earner to have a savings first mentality. Jay Leno and former NFL player Rob Gronkowski both set aside 100% of their primary income. Leno saved his Tonight Show money and lived off earnings from comedy gigs he made on the side, while Gronkowski saved his NFL salary and lived off endorsements. Tatum, now 21, didn't grow up with much money. He and his mom lived check to check, he told Carter. But as I got older, pay attention now, this is financial psychology popping in. Remember, I told you that money, there is such a thing as a money mindset. There is such a thing as a difference in the mindset between somebody who starts off poor and dies poor versus somebody who starts off poor and dies rich. There is a difference in the mentality, so don't ever let anybody make you think that mindset doesn't matter. Mindset is everything when it comes to money. People who think about money are going to get it. Just like a man who's always thinking about women is going to have plenty of sex and babies mamas. Well, a person who's always thinking about money is going to give birth to a whole lot of dollar bills. So just never ever let anybody make you believe that there's no such thing as a money mindset. There is such a thing as a money mindset, and it's very, very important. It's critical. So let me see what he says. So listen to this. This is how he developed his money mindset. Tatum, now 21, didn't grow up with much money. He and his mom lived paycheck to paycheck. But as I got older and started understanding that the NBA was coming to reality, so he's thinking, okay, long term, I got some dollar bills on my way. She started talking to me, mothers, parenting, pay attention now. She started talking to me about the importance of balancing all this money. She still helps him out today, acting as his financial and business advisor. I love it. Shout out to all the mamas in the room. If you are a Black mama in the room, I want you to shout yourself out in the chat, because I swear to God, y'all are like the greatest lifesavers of all time. We love all of y'all. And I really think going into business with your mama is actually a good way to go. In business and wealth, I believe it's good to be a mama's boy. Shaquille O'Neal is another guy who was a little bit of a mama's boy when it came to business. Not in a bad way, but in a very productive way. Did anybody know about this? Shaquille O'Neal's mama was managing all of his money, all of his investments, all of his assets, when he joined the NBA. Now, are all mamas qualified to be financial advisors? Not in every case, right? Some people got mamas that are trifling, right? Some people got mamas that got a crack habit. Some people got mamas that'll go and spend the money on their boyfriend. But most mamas will do what's right by their baby. And the best thing about a mama as a financial advisor, which is why I strictly approve of this message, is that a mama can be trusted usually, right? Now, and if you can't trust your mama, then, first of all, I got some good therapists I can recommend for you. But then second of all, if you can't trust your mama. If you can't trust your mama, then all bets are off. But if you do have a mama you can trust, I think mamas are great business managers, especially if you supplement that and bring somebody else in that she trusts who can advise her on the best uses of those funds, right? And because here's why I bring this point up. A lot of these guys lose all their money because they get in a financial advisor who is not of the Black community, who does not care about that person, who ain't gonna look out for you no matter what, who is going to put your money into bad investments, who is going to put you in a horrible situation where they promise you that you're going to make all this money when really you're the one that's left holding the bag. And what they also do is they take advantage of the fact that many athletes do not have a lot of financial literacy. I talked to a brother who plays for the Utah Jazz. And this brother, he actually financed and sponsored an event out in Oklahoma City that I was invited to. It was a financial literacy event. I wish more NBA players would do this because I thought it was amazing that he did this. And I remember talking to him. We met for breakfast, and he told me that when he signed his financial plan with his advisor, that there were all these hidden fees that they just sort of snuck in the contract. All these little fees that they just sort of slid in there, just like the way they trick you with sex. Let me just put the tip in a little bit, right? So they tricked them and they put all these hidden fees in there, and they thought that he wasn't going to notice. They thought that he wasn't going to pay attention because they're used to athletes only focusing on the booty and the bling and not really paying attention to what's going on with those hidden fees. And that's how they get you. That's one way they get you. They put so many fees in there so that whether you make money or lose money, they're going to get their money. Any risk that's taken in this investment is going to be taken by you. It's not taken by them. You see, that's what they would call a transfer of risk. Basically, through specific forms of contracting, they transfer the risk onto you so that you end up holding the bag if the investment doesn't work out. But if the investment makes money, then they're making even more money than they were making before. They have a floor on the amount of money they're going to make. You don't have a floor on how much you can lose. You can lose it all, right? And that's why you see guys, anybody remember, give me a yes or no if you remember Quentin Portis. Quentin Portis, the NFL player who said that he was going to go and shoot his financial advisor because his advisor ripped him off. Anybody remember that? Give me a yes or no if you remember Quentin Portis saying that he was going to go shoot his financial advisor because the advisor lost all his money. Anybody remember that? Give me a yes or no. Hit the thumbs up button, please. If you haven't done it yet, please hit the thumbs up button. Okay, I see some yeses. I see some nos. Well, let me just tell you this. As a guy who understands finance very well, I knew exactly why this happened to him. The minute I heard that story was the minute I knew exactly what went down. I said somebody invested badly for him and gave him bad advice. What they probably did, there's a good chance they probably did this. They probably said, hey, we're going to start, me and my cousin Benny are going to start a liquor store, and you're going to be a partner in the liquor store. You're going to put up the capital. We're going to manage the liquor store. So what you do is you put in the contract, they put something in there where they're going to charge all these management fees that they receive, for making the deal happen, for running the liquor store, for doing all these other things, right? And you're going to only get what you might call equity participation. You only make money if there's a profit being made, but they make money whether there's a profit or there's a loss. You see, somebody who gives themselves a salary in your income is going to make money whether you make money or not. That's how they got New Edition. How the hell? Anybody else see the New Edition story? Anybody else remember that nonsense? Give me a yes or no if you remember the part of the New Edition story where New Edition got robbed on their first deal, where they did a world tour, #1 album, sold out stadiums all over the globe, and ended up getting a check for like $1.87. How does that happen? Where did the money go? I mean, the money didn't disappear. Let me tell you where the money went. The money went in the fact that the people who wrote the contract what they do is to protect their own income, they put little fees in there, little recoups. Like, okay, I get when the money comes in, I get first dollar back, whether we make a profit or not. When the money comes in, I get the money. I get a fee for this. I get a fee for that. I've got a company over here that makes that makes jewelry, and I'm going to put in a jewelry fee, like any bling you want. You walk into the jewelry store, you get all the jewelry that you want. Well, you're buying it from a company that I own or my cousin owns, right? So what they're doing is they're scraping away at the money before a profit is even made, and then they tell you get paid based on profit. And if you ever get paid based on profit, then you's a sucker. I had a good conversation with Will Smith's brother Harry, who's a financial guy like me. I love Harry, smart guy. He and I sat and talked for 2 hours at one time, and we hit it off so well. We had another 2 hour conversation, and it was great talking to him. Because I could tell from talking to him how smart that family is. The Smith family is not successful for nothing. They're very, very bright people. I can confirm this from the conversation we had. Anyway. So I'm talking to Harry, and I remember, that one of the things that he said that changed, that shifted the way they seem to do business as a family, was that back in the 90s, they used to do deals where people like Will Smith or Tom Cruise or whomever would get a percentage of the first dollar that came in the door when a movie was made. They would say, you get 20% of all the revenue, whether we make a profit or not. Then they flipped over to deals where you only make money if there's a profit. So the problem is that profits can be manipulated. Accounting can manipulate whether or not there's a profit. If they throw enough expenses in there, they can make sure that there's no profit. That's why Harry Potter, to this day, does anybody know this? To this day, from what I understand, Warner Brothers still claims Harry Potter has not made a profit. Has not made a profit. How many of y'all knew this? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. How many of y'all knew that to this day, Warner Brothers claims that Harry Potter, the franchise, has never made a profit? Yes or no? Who knows that? Yeah, go Google it. I'm gonna double check to make sure they haven't changed their language. But they're claiming that Harry Potter didn't make a profit. Now, has Harry Potter made money? Let's see. I don't know. Let's go Google it, right? Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done this yet. Please hit the thumbs up button. And also, if you want to learn stock market investing, stuff like that, I actually have a stock market investing program. It's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. So feel free to go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com if you want to go check it out. Let me see. Harry Potter box office. Okay. According to this first link, let me see here. It looks like they're saying Harry Potter has made $1 billion, but that's probably one movie. Yeah, that's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Let me see. Which Harry Potter movie made the most money? Okay, wait. Sorry. So maybe I'm wrong. Here we go. I see number one was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This has got to be domestic or something. This can't be global box office. Yeah, this is it, right? So let me see. Here's one movie. This is one movie. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone made 971 million. The budget was 130 million. So they put out about 4 or 5 or 6 of those Harry Potter movies. So each of those movies is making hundreds of millions of dollars. And they're still coming back saying, hey, sorry, we didn't make a profit. Sorry, we just tried. We got books and action figures and amusement park rides and movies and all this, and we still haven't made a profit. Well, that's because profit can be manipulated. That's why I knew that when they were, not to even defend Donald Trump, because I think he's an idiot too, but when they were trying to basically say that he's definitely a bad businessman because he didn't make a profit, that showed me only people who say stuff like that are people who don't run a business. Because a lot of people that run businesses know that a lot of times you don't even want to make a profit because then you got to pay more taxes. So they will live a lavish lifestyle and write everything off so that they don't have a profit. So they can say, I didn't make any money. I'm broke. We ain't got no money over here. Right. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Let me finish reading this article and then we can bounce on out of here and I'll let you guys go. Make sure you subscribe. TheBlackFinancialChannel.com. We're growing very, very fast and we're a great daily financial news channel. And there's no other place like this. I can't imagine any other place being able to give you analysis like this that also comes from a black perspective. We're just damn good at what we do. So theblackfinancialchannel.com. All right, so Tatum, now 21, didn't grow up with money. He and his mom lived paycheck to paycheck. So good mothering came into play, not only with his mother being a great business partner, but also his mother teaching him things when he's young. So moms, dads, parents, what you teach your kids is going to stay with them forever. I'm just telling you this right now. My grandmother, the things my grandmother taught me are the things that drive who I am right now. Who I am right now would not be the same person if my grandma had not talked to me about responsible finances when I was a kid. If I had not heard that from my grandmother, I would not be the man that I am to this day. So what I really want you to understand is that what you say to your kids about money is going to stick with them forever. So you have to make a decision. Are you going to tell them things that are going to empower them, or are you going to tell them things that are going to destroy them and leave them in poverty and leave them in the struggle? It's up to you. It's up to you to make that decision. But I'm encouraging you to really understand that you have all the power. So let's see here. Let me keep going. He has a favorite splurge. He said, the thing I spend most of my extra money on is I like wearing nice clothes. And I like the fact that he mentioned that. He said, I didn't make all this money to save it all. He said after he got drafted, he bought an Escalade for his mom and a Range Rover for himself. So, I think that's a good thing, right? See, here's the thing about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum will probably be making 15, 20, or 25, or maybe $30 million at some point. He's a very good player from what I saw, watching with the Celtics. His income will only go up. His endorsements will only become more lucrative. And also once he gets into the world of investing, if he's hanging with LeBron and who's also hanging with Warren Buffett, there's no way this brother's not going to be insanely rich at some point. The key things to carry away from this is that if he is saving that money, he really needs to make sure that money's invested, that money's active, because when your money's active, then you'd be amazed at how much it grows, especially the last 30, 40 years. The last 40 years, in almost any 5-year, 10-year period, in the last 40 years, making money in the stock market is like shooting fish in a barrel. You could be a blind, retarded monkey and make money in the stock market just by randomly picking stocks and investing consistently. I'm not making this up. This is actually proven by financial theory. There's a book called A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel, where he actually has monkeys invest in the stock market, and the monkeys were actually making money because right now it's been that easy. And truth be told, really, you go back the last 100 years, it's been pretty simple. And so what I really want you guys to understand is that you can't run right here letting people talk you out of doing the things you need to do with your money, or letting fear cause you to not let your money grow. What I also like, though, is I like the fact that him saving this money does show something that I made a video about this not too long ago, that you actually don't have to, your investments don't even have to make money a lot of times for you to actually grow wealth and become a millionaire or whatever it is you're trying to do, right? There are people who just make consistent investments, and maybe those investments don't grow at all. Maybe they buy shares of stock, on average for $100, and they go down to 95. But the idea is that at least you're putting your money somewhere where it's going to maintain itself. You see, the thing about money is that money is supposed to turn into capital. It's supposed to turn into an asset. And when you get income is your opportunity to have an asset. Most of us blow that opportunity. If you simply were to take the amount of money that most of us spend on fast food, the average Black American spends about $3,000 a year on fast food. So when you're adding up Popeye's chicken and going to see the Black Panther and buying new shoes or whatever it is we do, the average Black American spends about $3,000 a year on fast food. If the average Black American were to put the same amount of money into the stock market as we put into fast food, then you would have no money problems. You do that for about a decade or two, you're going to have tens of thousands, if not over $100,000 liquid in the bank. So anybody who tells you that being poor means you must stay that way is lying to you. That is not true. I put it on my mama. I put it on everything I love. I've studied this for 25, 30 years, and I know exactly what I'm talking about. Please don't listen to any Negro naysayers who tell you that investing is not a good idea. If anybody tells you that investing is not a good idea, then I want you to go look at their bank account, and their bank account size will tell you everything you need to know about the fact that they are lying through their teeth about something they know nothing about. So do not let dumb people guide you financially. Pay attention to what wealthy people are doing. Pay attention to what people are doing who rose out of poverty. Those are the ones that you want to pay attention to. Now, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done this yet. David K says, I remember a few months ago CNN revealing that Trump made $479 million last year. Pretty good for a bad businessman. Yeah, I'm not trying to say Trump is a great guy. I don't think he's a great guy. But, that ain't got nothing to do with whether or not the man's making money. All I know is that when I was in high school, this man had a private jet with his name on it. And I know that as a 48-year-old, he still got a big jet with his name on it. So I'm not trying to say that his finances are wonderful. They're probably complicated. They're probably crazy all over the place, I'm sure. I'm sure he's got all kinds of shady deals around the world. I'm sure he's using his office for his own personal benefit. I have no doubt that that is occurring right now. But what I will say to you is that if anybody lets you use politics as a reason to try to somehow say that he's really broke and he's really a horrible businessman and all this other stuff, then you's a fool, man. You are a fool. How many of y'all, give me a yes or no, how many of y'all can go get you a private jet right now, and a jumbo jet that is yours with your name on it that you can fly? Yes or no? Can you go get a jumbo jet, even get access to it, even use it, just access to a jet? right? Not even own it, access to it. Yes or no? Right. The answer is no. Most of us can't do that. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and defend the man. I'm not trying to say that he's a great guy. I don't think he's a great guy. I'm just trying to tell you that they lying to y'all, man. They playing y'all. If he was a Democrat, they would have a whole different narrative about how wonderful of a man he is and how you need to believe in him. And I'm not into that, good, bad, whatever, scenario when it comes to politicians. I'm just into looking at what's real and what's not and where the resources are. So you guys remember that the number one word that our community needs to learn for this generation. I mentioned this to you guys before. The number one word for our community for this generation is what? Does anybody know? Can anybody guess what the number one word is? Dr. Claude Anderson gave me that word, and I'm sharing this with you guys every chance I get. The number one word that you and your children need to recite to themselves every day is this. Hit the thumbs up button while we do this. I'm going to give you guys a second to see if you can answer. See if anybody can guess what that number one word is for the 21st century that Black people need to understand. Resources. Bam. Thank you, Brother Kofi. Thank you, Happy Times. Yes, resources. The acquisition of resources is the most important thing that Black people can do, even if those resources are not necessarily the most profitable resources. So that means the acquisition of stocks and bonds. Anybody who buys stock consistently and does it for a 10, 15-year period in the last 40 years is doing well, unless they took on a bunch of debt, but they're typically doing well. The acquisition of land and property, right? Even buying property that's overpriced ends up being a good long-term investment 9 times out of 10, right? If you had bought an overpriced building back in, or overpriced house back in 1982, well, that house is probably worth tons more now than it was at that time. And then on top of that, in fact, you can't show me hardly any real estate anywhere that isn't worth more now than it was worth 25 years ago, a generation ago. That's extremely rare, right? So it's, if you're thinking long term, it's almost impossible to overpay for real estate most of the time. Now, I'm not saying all the time, right? But I'm saying most of the time. Resources, starting businesses. That's another type of resource that you're able to create from what they call your human capital. So resources. The people who have the most resources are the ones who win. So what does that mean? That means that if I'm a person who has an average income and I'm spending money, I'm thinking about what percentage of my spending is going toward the acquisition of resources versus what percentage of my spending is going toward giving my money away in exchange for a service or a product or some food or some shoes or whatever, right? If somebody give me a Popeye's chicken sandwich for that $5.99 plus a drink, which brings the total to $10, $12, you can buy $12 worth of stock. That is doable. And a person who even does basic things like that is going to be in a better financial position than a person who doesn't do anything at all. So it's okay for people to throw their conspiracy theories at you. But what I'm saying is that don't let the conspiracy theories be your excuse for doing nothing. Because when I study the wealth gap and I study how it's growing, when I look at the gap, not the racial wealth gap between whites and blacks, but the intra-racial wealth gap between Black people who come from poverty and become wealthy versus those who come from poverty and stay broke. The difference between Black folks who come from poverty and get wealthy and those who come from poverty and stay broke typically is driven by investing. Did you invest in education? Did you invest in starting a business? Are you investing in the stock market? If you give me two people who start broke, two Black people who start broke, right? So let's take white folks out of the equation. Two Black people who start broke with nothing, and one person is investing their whole life and the other person is not investing at all, then the person who is making the investments 9 times out of 10 will be better off than the person who's sitting there complaining that they can't invest because the white man said they're not allowed to do it. So let's let go of this nonsense. I take race out of the equation so that I don't hear people saying, well, Doc, the reason Black people ain't got nothing because white people did this and white people did. Yeah, we know white people gonna stay white. They ain't gonna change. They will never have melanin in their skin in this generation or the next until they meet your child or something and have an interracial baby. Then the baby will become Black and all that stuff gets washed away. But my point of the matter is to say that you got to let go of the conspiracy theories and you got to do the basics. So this brother, I love this brother. I respect him because he's doing the basics. He's going to get ahead. Even if he's not making heavy investments or lucrative investments, he's going to be better off than a lot of these guys out here who are spending all their money up and are going to end up broke. All right, guys. So do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the share button. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe. TheBlackFinancialChannel.com. Also, if you'd like to do a short commentary or a short little video that we can share on the channel, feel free to go to BoyceYourOpinion.com, BOYCE, BoyceYourOpinion.com. And also, we have a seminar tomorrow night on how to form the perfect estate plan. Remember, your legacy will outlive your life. Your legacy will outlive your life. Meaning that, your time on this earth will be short, but what you leave behind will last for 10 times your lifetime, right? So given that your legacy will outlive your life, think about Martin Luther King. He lived 38 years. but his legacy's lasted, it's going to last 100, 200 years, right? Your legacy will outlive your life. So you got to protect your legacy. Protecting your legacy means you don't want to go out like Prince. Don't go out like Aretha Franklin. Get you an estate plan. We got a lawyer, attorney Nicole Compton, who could teach you how to form the perfect estate plan. Feel free to go to drboyceseminars.com. That's drboyceseminars.com. And you can actually sign up for the lecture. And then also we're doing one on how to make money as a government contractor with Walter Cotton. There's a lot of money being spent by the federal government. If you want to get your piece of that and want to get through the red tape, he's an expert on this. He can help you. It's a small investment. I think it's $99 to join the seminar, but you can literally go out and make $99,000 with the information that he's going to give you. And I've seen this. We have students who are now making well into the six figures. So feel free to go to drboyceseminars.com. Last but not least, if you want to get your children ahead, my high recommendation is that you send your children to business school at a very early age so that they'll be 10 years ahead of the other kids. Don't just send them to football camp, basketball camp, send them to business school. We have a great black business school for children at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So I hope that that's good information for you. We have resources to help you. The Black Business School has your back. We want to see you win. So take care, guys. Have a good night, and thank you for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Peace.